understand that money in the bag's enough to change lives. It's also enough to get you killed. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 action film Hunting Games. The film is written and directed by Justin Lee and it stars Chris C.T. Tamburillo, we have Ed Maroney, we have Randy Sharach and Tito Ortiz. Right, the film focuses on a failed robbery mid-air and some money, a lot of money, is kind of dropped from this aeroplane with this guy that's robbed the money. He's landed deep in these woods, and there has been some henchmen sent to retrieve this money. However, what they didn't count on was Will Walker, who is out hunting in the woods because hunting season has just started. He comes across this money, and it then becomes a fight for survival for him as he goes up against these henchmen who are hell-bent on taking this money back from him, and he won't give it up easily. Right, what are my thoughts on Hunting Games? Now, when I first looked at the synopsis for this film, I thought this was going to be basically just another form of The Most Dangerous Game type of thing. That's what the title suggested to me. So I wasn't particularly enthused to watch it because I can't tell you how many low budget versions of The Most Dangerous Game, the hard target type format with Jean-Claude Van Damme that I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years on this channel and reviewed. It's a tired format, and very rarely is it done effectively, in my opinion. But I was pleasantly surprised that in actual fact this film isn't necessarily, a version of that. There are elements in there, but it isn't that. I mean, basically the story is exactly as I've said. You get this guy out there hunting in the woods, this Will Walker. He stumbles across this dead body and a big bag of money. He decides to take the money, and he is then pursued by some henchmen who essentially have to get that money back. They don't really have a choice. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game. He's trying to outwit these henchmen using his own hunting skills, and it's like, trying to see who comes out on top. And I have to say, I mean, this film starts terribly, because you do get to see this robbery in this plane sort of thing, and it's so bad. The whole first chunk of this film, I wouldn't be surprised if many people turned it off, if I have to be honest, because I almost did. It's that bad. The acting, the fighting, the choreography, everything was just bad. And then, once that's out of the way, and then you've got this whole 10 or 15 minutes maybe of the introduction of characters, introducing this Chris C.T. Tamburillo, who plays Will Walker, what he does for a living, some of the locals in the town where he lives, and some interactions here and there, and it's all dull as dishwater, and with some pretty poor performances by most of everybody. And I'd be gobsmacked if an awful lot of people got past the first 15-20 minutes of this film, because it offers nothing. It really does offer nothing. You've also got Bruce Dern here, I almost forgot, even though he's barely in it. And what you do see of Bruce Dern in this film, it's basically he's on a Zoom call, so don't worry too much about Bruce Dern being in this film if you're major Bruce Dern fans out there. Now, this film really picks up, I think, when he actually gets into the woods, because number one, you get to see some really nice scenery, and it's filmed quite well, I'm not going to lie, and the cinematography is I think of a decent standard. You get to see the real scope of this place that he's hunting in, and you really get a flavour for the outdoors. and then it kicks into gear when, you know, he finds this money and these henchmen start chasing him. And then there are actually, at that point, there's some really pretty decent action scenes. There's some explosions, and it's done so well. You can see, you know, the guy's jacket catching on fire is that close to the explosion. Just by looking at that picture, I'm reminded as well that we also have the great Danny Trejo. That's it. I couldn't think of his name then. So it's thrown a few recognisable. There you go, Danny Trejo. It's thrown a few recognisable faces at us, but the film, it doesn't make the film any better or any worse. Really, it's just names to put on a poster. But as I've said, when they're in the woods and, you know, they're chasing each other and they're shooting at each other, trying to outwit each other, that is easily the best part of this film. And it is done to, at times, an impressive standard, in a sense of, like I say, some of the action, some of the stunts I think were pretty decent, and then it falls off a cliff again at the end. I just couldn't get on board with the ending, and it just didn't make sense to me, you know, why somebody would risk so much to do what they do, sort of thing. So yeah, I think the middle bit is of a decent standard and certainly watchable. The rest of it really is deeply, and I mean deeply, forgettable and deeply below average, that bit. So it really does drag the film down. The first chunk of the film and the last chunk of the film, the bit in the middle works for me, and we needed more of that, if I'm being particularly honest. So it's not an appalling film, it's not a terrible film. There are some interesting things here, there's some effort gone into this film, but it is certainly not going to rock your world either. At the same time, you've seen this type of thing done many times before and done better. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. I will of course be back with more reviews and content on the channel very soon.